Hey Taurus, welcome to Dragonfly Soul Tarot. This tarot reading is called the mid-year check-in. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reading some cards for the energy of the past 6 months, some cards for the present, and some for the upcoming 6 months. Okay, first card is the 8 of Wands. Yay. Okay, and then the Tower. And the 5 of Coins. And we have the 10 of Coins in the present. We have the Hierophant in the present. We have the 7 of Coins in the present. We have the Page of Swords. We have the Star. We have the Hermit. You know what? Oh, as I was shuffling, the 6 of Swords fell out, so I just thought that I would leave it out because it seems like sometimes when a card jumps out, it seems like there's something important that needs to be said about that particular spread. So the first 3 cards, we have headed towards a tempestuous time, sometimes financially. Maybe you had a problem with money and suddenly you found yourself low on cash. So this is a sudden, this is also feeling left out in the cold, right? So it's not necessarily financially. This could be a falling out, something that happened suddenly with somebody who you feel like has left you out in the cold. So currently we have some good cards, some work cards, financial cards. Things are good with the home. Things are good with work. You're maybe coasting a little bit, but things at work are good. This Hierophant is showing up in the middle here. You may be hearing from a married friend about something, possibly some news about a new job or some information. There's some information coming in, and it seems to me like you are taking the traditional route. I'm not entirely sure. With the 7 of Coins and the 10 of Coins, this is financial fulfillment, and this is financial gain, financial mastery. Yeah, financial mastery. And then we have something to do with marriage. Maybe an ex might come back into your life, seeking some sort of clarification on something monetarily, something to do with the institution of marriage or tradition or law or something like that. Although I would have to say that justice would be more of a law thing. This is more of a religion and marriage and partnership and tradition sort of thing. So I'm sorry I couldn't be more clear. It's just for some reason this marital angle has something to do with the money that you're making now and the money that you have accumulated. So there's some sort of impact in terms of money. Maybe you're getting divorced or maybe you're getting married, so you are going to be combining these things and you're wondering whether to put together a prenup or something like that. One partner makes more than the other, so it's possible that you make more than your partner and you want to know that they will be true. They're not just marrying you for the money, that sort of thing. In terms of advice in that situation, just tread carefully. I mean, when the cards bring up a certain situation, then that is where you want to focus your attention on. And it's not a matter of being paranoid if you're getting married and you make considerably more than your spouse to be. It's just to be careful, right? It's just to be aware of the situation. So when you are aware, you make better choices. You don't just jump into certain situations, or maybe somebody may be asking you to sign a prenup here because they have a lot of, they make considerably more than you do down here. So yeah, there's something to do with the influence of marriage or potential marriage on the monetary situation. Okay, but we have the Six of Swords saying that you're leaving something behind. You're moving to better, clearer waters. This seems to me to be some sort of altercation here. There was this situation earlier in the year where you felt like you were left out in the cold, a sudden ending to something, and then there is an altercation, there is a confrontation. Although you have the Star, so possibly you come out on top and you say your piece and you feel very self-satisfied about it. I have to say though that with the Hermit as the outcome, it's like a lose-lose situation. You make somebody feel bad to make yourself feel good, and in the end you've lost, right? So if you are trying to resolve a situation, see, it's better to just leave it be. This is the Six of Swords, right? The Six of Swords is just leaving it be, not pressing the matter, just turning your back on a situation. Just leave it be, right? Let it slide, as opposed to the Knight of Swords taking action and actively getting into a litigious situation. You will come out on top, but maybe they're letting you come out on top, right? Because you're gonna feel like the Star when you tell them off, right? But in the end result is gonna be that you're once again isolated. And in this deck, the Hermit doesn't seem like a very happy person. In some decks, the Hermit is happy to be a hermit. He is out there, he's seeking answers, he enjoys his solitude, and he's really getting some deep thinking done. But in this deck, it just seems to me... Oh, I'm so sorry that it's so out of focus. In this deck, it just seems to me that the Hermit is unhappy being a hermit. He's unhappy being alone. He's unable to find the answers because his lantern is by his side. It's not out in front of him where he's seeking. It's just there, and his head is hung, and he seems a little bit slouched, and he's thinking, but he seems very glum. More so than in other decks. I mean, the Hermit is never like the cheerful fool or anything like that, but more so in this deck than others. He seems unhappy to be isolated. In other decks, he seems to revel in his isolation and use it to his advantage to grow. But in this deck, the Hermit says to me, I'm not happy to be isolated. I'm looking for an answer to my isolation by being isolated while being isolated. So yeah, this is how I have been reading this Hermit in this deck, and different decks will give a different impression, so I will read different cards differently in different decks, right? But in this deck, the Hermit is isolated. He is not happy to be isolated. He is looking for a way out of his isolation, and that could have been avoided by just not getting involved in the first place, just letting it slide. Why do you need to get into a fight? What are you going to win? You're going to win feeling superior? No. You're going to end up being even more isolated, and you're going to just make things worse for yourself. It's this feeling of winning is just fleeting, and then boo, you go right back to feeling alone. So Taurus, I don't know who this is for, but it just seems like there's somebody that you have to get something off of your chest with, but if you do, you're going to hurt them, and you are going to feel superior, and you're going to feel awful afterwards. So yeah, the best thing to do is just let it slide and let it blow over and just move on. So Taurus, this is why this came out here, because all this does is just churn back and forth like in a washing machine. You know, nothing gets resolved. You just end up in the same place where you started, out in the cold. So leave it behind. Don't get involved. Don't even bring it up. Just forget about it. Okay? Don't get into it. You may think you're right, but you may not even be right. But you will feel right after you've told this person off for good. And then you will have to deal with the Hermit energy all alone. Hopefully this message came out to you, and it shed some light on a tricky situation. Bye for now, Taurus. See you next time.